like my third attempt to record this video because I'm trying to make it short and sweet and not do a whole bunch of parts. So, pretty much earlier this year in about March, I felt like the Lord was leading me to move to New York. It was the last weekend in March. I felt like there was a grace to move to New York. I always knew I was gonna come back. I went to school at Nyack College in Nyack, New York, and it was great. And I love Nyack, and I always rep Nyack. But I went to school there, and I always knew I was gonna come back to New York. New York just has my heart. It's just a place that I have a heart for, that I believe the Lord has given me a heart for. So every time I wanted to go back, I tried by myself, trying to make it happen. God was like, nope, shut it down. This is not it. It's not the time, blah, blah, blah. And then one day when I was just minding my business, like all of a sudden it was just like, God was just like, it's time. And I was like, and like, it was like crazy because I was like, dang, like I wasn't prepared. All the other time I tried to make it happen, it didn't work. And then all of a sudden when I'm just minding my business, God's like, it's time to go. So I'm like, all right, cool. So a couple weeks later, I'm praying because I'm just anxious about this move because I don't have a full-time job. I don't have a career in like some field or industry. I was a Bible major. So, you know, I love Jesus. Most of my job experience has been around church things, nonprofit Christian organizations. It's not like, I mean, an industry where you could just pick up and move somewhere else. And so I'm praying, I'm spending a lot more time in prayer, and I'm praying and I just hear God tell me, like, if you don't move by August, you're gonna start finding excuses to stay. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? So I'm like, okay, God, all right, cool. So I start telling my friends, like, I'm moving to New York. They're like, what's the plan? Like, I don't know. They're like, you got a job lined up? I'm like, no, but I'm moving to New York. God told me I'm moving to New York. And I feel like, you know, they was looking at me like I was a little crazy. And you could even hear it over the phone. Like, you could just hear the doubt and stuff. And it was crazy. But I knew, like, no, this is what God is saying. This is what's going to happen. So I'm like, all right, bet. I keep praying. I keep being patient because I know however I'm going to get there is not going to be me. It's going to be God. And then I remember that one week in April, I ended up meeting up with a friend. But the friend wasn't alone. And they actually brought someone else with them that I went to college with. And as I was just sharing with them, like I was moving to New York, and we were just talking about ministry and different things, and they just offered me a opportunity, or they presented rather an opportunity to me so I could come to New York and serve at their church. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. But I was like, let me go pray, because you just never tell people yes without praying, because it'd just be weird. I went and I prayed, and I felt like God was like telling me to move forward with the process. So I moved forward with the process, and I'm like, okay, like, all right, cool. Literally 2 weeks later, the process isn't even finalized. Nothing is finalized at all. I hear God tell me next Sunday is your last Sunday at church. I'm like, what? Like, I was just not ready. I'm like, God, there's no contract. There's no nothing. Like, I love my church. Like, what we doing? And I just heard him say it several times. So I'm like, all right, bet. So literally my last Sunday came, and I remember asking God, what are we doing next week? Like, where are we going? Like, I don't have a home church now. Like, what are we doing? And I remember I just heard him tell me to go visit a church in New York that my friend goes to, that I used to visit a lot, but I hadn't visited in a long time, since like maybe last August. So I called my friend. I'm like, hey, you gonna be there next Sunday? Like, okay, bet. So we go to visit her church. I drive to New York literally on a Sunday just to visit her church. But I ended up getting an opportunity to do some photo and video stuff for this church. So I had an appointment after the service that felt like I was supposed to go to New York just to attend. So I'm sitting at the service. It's cool, whatever, you know, church service, like sermon, worship, good. Matter of fact, I think we missed most of worship that day. It was so bad. But, you know, we get to the church. It's good. The word is good. And I remember the time is going by. And, you know, sometimes service be running late. And it's just like, dang, service is running late. Like, I got to go. I got a meeting. I got to be at this other church to do this photo video work. And I literally remember trying to leave, but my keys were caught. So the church meets in a cinema, like in a movie theater, and my keys were caught in between the seats, and I tried to get them out, and I couldn't get it out. And I was like, okay, you know what, whatever. And as I was fighting to get the keys out, the pastor goes, let us pray. And I'm like, okay, you know, let me chill out. Service is almost done. Let me just chill out and wait till the end. Well, I tried to chill out and wait to the end, and the prayer was just taking a little too long. So I'm like reaching for the keys. I'm like, all right, yo, we trying to go. And like, the keys wouldn't come out. I'm like, okay. And then the service ended. And I was like, okay, since I'm here, my keys came out like right after service ended. I might as well say hi to the pastor or whatever. So I went to say hi to the pastor. Hadn't seen him in a while. And I was like, oh, I'm moving to New York. They're like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. Just following God, just waiting for opportunity, whatever. And that's when he tells me, oh, this Christian school is looking for teachers. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, all right, bet. So then he tells me, go talk to this person. I talk to this person and they give me more information. So I send my information to the principal and she randomly calls me in like maybe like a week or so later for an interview. It's like Monday, she tells me to come in on a Wednesday. Pretty much, I spent the interview listening to how unqualified I was and was 100% sure that I was not going to get that job. So they said that they would call me about a teacher's assistant position. And I was like, okay. Yo, they never called me back, bro. Like, this was the interview was in May or June, early June. They didn't call me back, and my housing situation wasn't, like, solidified yet. So fast forward to August, literally, my housing situation stuff got settled, and I was supposed to move to New York on a specific Monday. I should say that in between that time, it was really hard because I felt like it was like, God, I know I'm supposed to move to New York, and like the housing stuff was kind of taking longer than I anticipated, and the job never called me back, and I was applying to other jobs, whatever, and no one was getting back to me, and it was just like crazy. Actually, I did have a couple interviews, but it was after a certain point, no one was getting back to me, and it was very hard. And I just remember, like, I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to my faith and the things I believe. So if I believe God told me something, well, that's what God told me, and then I'm like gonna run with it, and I'm not gonna be crazy about it or whatever, but I have a lot of faith to believe that the Lord, if he says something's going to happen, he's going to make it happen. And it's not my business to figure out how, when, who, how, whatever's going to happen. Like, he's going to just do it. So fast forward to August, my housing situation finally gets, like, situated. And so I'm scheduled to move to New York on a Monday, okay? The Thursday before I'm supposed to move to New York, the same principal calls me back. And she's just like, would you feel comfortable teaching science and math? And I'm just like, yo, this is crazy right now. Like, this is really, like, I'm shook right now. Like, this is really God. So I said, yes. I was like, I do feel comfortable. She was like, okay, like, come in. I have to talk to my board and see, you know, if it's okay with them or whatever. And then we'll see what can happen. Long story short, y'all, I got the job. I got a job as a teacher. That's how I'm able to teach at the school I teach at now. I teach science to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at a Christian school, as well as math to 8th graders. And I teach like Bible class once a week, and it's great and it's awesome. And it's literally God. Imagine being in a position where you think that like you about to like just not have a job and you don't really know what's gonna happen. I mean, that's me. I just live my life a little, not little, but just very faith-based living. And, you know, I really didn't know what was going to happen. And I got a job like that. Not only that, the job was going to pay me a certain amount of money. And I got a significant, like by the time the contract came out, the money was a lot more than what we originally spoke about. And I was just so grateful to God because I'm like, dang, God, like you really provided this job for me. And with my housing situation, what I do is I'm able to work at a church / intern / just work. I do a whole bunch of stuff here, but my main job is project manager, and I also help manage the social media page as well as with worship and media just in general, just helping to just improve and progress the church and make sure that the certain tasks get done so that we can continue to grow and progress as a church. It's a church plant and it's really awesome, but they provide me with housing, which is so awesome. And I just want to give you some encouragement that, you know, if you feel like the Lord is leading you to move somewhere or to move to a state, like just trust him. Don't force it. Don't try to make it all happen on your own. Just trust that he's going to be the one that opens up the doors and provides the opportunities for you to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, like I literally could not have created the situation I live in now. To have a place where I have housing and to have a place where I'm being a place where I have a job, making more money than I've made. It's not crazy money, but it's more money than I've made since I finished college. Think about that, guys. Like I literally did not have like a full-time vocational job for a long time. So I'm just so grateful to God. And I just, like I said, to encourage you, if you feel like the Lord is leading you to move, take that step of faith and just trust him to handle everything. Like you don't have to do your part. If you got to apply to jobs, but like understand that it's going to be God that makes it really happen. And I'm just so grateful to be in New York. And I literally live like 30 minutes away from Manhattan, 30 minutes away from Manhattan. Like it's just crazy. And it's just a blessing. It really, really, really is. And that's my story. It's getting dark, so I'm going to end this video. Hopefully, I mean, this video is still going to be long, so I don't know. I want to take the time to thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed and share this with somebody you know needs it. Until next time, though, I'll see y'all. Peace.